What's the dumbest thing you've ever heard? My friend thinks that hibernation is a hoax because she's seen pictures of bears in the snow. The first picture she showed me was of a polar bear. A girls in math class didn't understand fractions. We got down to this because the teacher was explaining something else pretty simple that she didn't understand. So broke it down and figured out she didn't get fractions. Well, that's a little odd, but with a minute of explanation she should get it. Nope. Teacher asked what is larger, a half or 1/3. The girl said 3 is more than 2, so 1/3 is larger. Teacher drew 2 circles on the board, divided one in 2 and the other in 3 parts. Which is bigger? Girl gave the same answer. Teacher erased both circles, grabbed 2 pieces of paper, ripped one in half, 1 in thirds. Held up a piece of both. Which one is larger? Girl pointed out the 1/3 piece. Forget that there are more pieces and he binned the rest, holding up the initial 2 pieces again. Just look at the size. Which one is larger? Girl pointed out the smaller one again. Defeated, teacher lowered his arms and walked back to his desk. Please take no offense in this, but are you familiar with the words and concepts of smaller and larger, he asked, as this class turned more semestrity by the second. The girl said she did. Teacher pointed outside. See those trees? Which is larger, right or left? Left, girl said, and she was right. The left tree was about 5 meters taller. Then which piece of paper is larger? Holding them up again. Girl pointed out the smaller piece, and the teacher walked out of the classroom. Edit 1. Yay, gold, thanks. Edit 2. We were 15 or 16 at the time. Edit 3. No, she was not rolling. She was an arrogant, stuck-up bitch at the time. Bordering narcissism. I don't think she was able to accept she could be wrong. Edit 4. She was not great at anything numbers, but was good at languages. I have no idea what she does today, but I'm assuming something with languages rather than numbers. When I did tattoos, I had a guy come into the shop that wanted Mr. 113 on his wrist. Not really all that out of the ordinary. We get it drawn up, my coworker placed it, and she starts to do the tattoo. As soon as she starts, the guy screams in pain and jumps up. What the hell isn't that thing? Is there a needle in there? That shit hurts. What? This guy was in his 30s or 40s. How do you not know how tattoos are done? He said, I don't know. Just thought it was some permanent ink or something. The guy went outside for almost an hour to smoke, and I guess hype himself up. He got the outline done at least, but couldn't take the pain anymore and didn't get it filled. Still can't believe he didn't know tattoos were done with a needle. My brother used to be a park ranger. One time a lady asked him how long it took for a deer to become a moose. He said about 7 years. I used to work in a grocery store and this elderly woman said, 25 cents a pound? I can get them 4 pounds for $1 at Safeway. My mum once asked if they had wind in Canada. I was in a college class, and we were talking about agriculture. Me being from a farming town, I was explaining how important certain aspects of farming are interesting and super important. This one student was not budging, and she was refusing whatever I was saying. I asked her why she was so against farming, and she said, I think we should get rid of all of them. We don't need them. I asked her if she liked to eat, and she said we would be fine. We could just get food from the stores. I asked her how she planned on getting that food into the store. She responded with, well, they already make all the food in the store as it is, right? Why do we need farms? They're stealing money from our local businesses. So in a nutshell, she thought everything, flowers, fish, chicken, loaf bread, and like everything, was made in the stores, and that's why we don't need farms. Edit. So did not expect to come home to this many comments. So 1, thanks for giving me some hope in humanity. 4, know how agriculture is. Point 2. Thanks for the awards. I'll treasure them. 3. Here is this conversation ended. Enjoy. 1 answer is yes, she was in college. No idea how. She didn't know how or why we would transport food to 5 stores. It made more sense to make everything in a store there in the store. So I explained how we needed a transport system for this. Like that's why you see semi-trucks on the highway. However, after the semi-truck comment, she was like, why don't we just use trains to transport the food? I told her we do actually do that. We even use planes. She asked then, why don't we just switch to trains since it's better for the environment? Since he didn't know trains also run on fuel, and in the 1800s coal. She thought that all trains were still running on coal, and that it's better for the environment. She also didn't think we used this much for transportation. Her closing remark was, well then we should just eat local and plant our own vegetables. The professor said good luck waiting for 2 or so weeks till the vegetables are ready, but our farmers have them now. She later brought the same thing, but for clothes stores. This time the professor basically told her that we need to clothe billions of people in the world. At that point it dawned on her why we need this much food to make haha. If I could find a country that didn't take immigrants and I'd move there. Had a friend over years ago and we were talking about my plasma TV. He said that he would never buy a plasma TV because he didn't want to have to replace the plasma when it ran out. I didn't correct him. I thought it would be best if he didn't buy a plasma TV. I drive for Uber on the weekends, and one time a girl who was in her late 20s told me that I was making her uncomfortable. I haven't said a word the whole trip, so I asked how I could make the situation better. She said she didn't like how I kept playing with the fidget stick in the middle of my car. I drive a manual. She then told me that I didn't need to use that because her car didn't have that, and claimed to be a mechanic edit. First gold I've ever got, so thank you whoever it was. Second edit. Thank you for second gold. Oxygen doesn't come from trees, it comes from the air. Is African a religion? If you have sex with a pregnant girl you can change the biological dad to you. We went to a prestigious school and he was dumb. Everyone looked at him like an idiot. Wait, you've been to Indiana? Do they really speak English? Someone was convinced that Queen stole the bass line to Under Pressure from Vanilla Ice's Ice Ice Baby. He wasn't even saying it as a joke. Me. What weighs more, a pound of bricks or a pound of feathers? Coworker? Bricks? It took me about 15 minutes to explain the answer to him, which included me drawing it out on paper and using a kitchen scale with different items for examples. I drank so much that night. My old housemate thought that Down syndrome was something you could get from vaccines. She wasn't anti-vax. She was talking about vaccines and said I don't get why parents are afraid to get their kids vaccinated. The chances of catching Down syndrome are really low. 15-year-old girl was afraid that she may be pregnant because she had unprotected sex with another girl. A girl I used to work with was pissed that her boyfriend only bought me 12 roses. He wouldn't even go all out for a dozen. What a jerk. Had a coworker tell me I don't want that supervisor position. You're supposed to get less responsibilities when you promote, not more. Trying to do an intervention for my friend who was using meth. It was just me doing the intervention because he had stole from everyone else who ever cared. Anyway, it all started when he was showing me a video on his phone of him smoking meth in a car with some other meth head. I swear on my life this is a real conversation that happened him. I wasn't smoking meth. Me. You literally, just now, showed me a video of you smoking meth. You even used the words I'm smoking meth in the video. Him. No, but I wasn't smoking it. Me. You held a pipe up to your mouth, sparked a lighter, and inhaled smoke. It was all on the video you just now showed me him. It wasn't smoking because it doesn't count if you inhale it through your nose. What the fuck? On the bus, a student yelled, "Why is the moon out during the fucking daytime?" Elderly lady my mom knew refused to ever drink Colombian coffee because she was convinced that they secretly put cocaine in it. If that was the case, every store would be sold out of it as soon as they got it in. Idiot. I was in Spanish class and my teacher asked what was happening in Chile during the 1980s, and this dumbass said World War II. I bought a Venus flytrap for my desk at work. One of the women who works in HR came over to my desk and stared at it for a long time, looking confused. Eventually she asked, "Where are its eyes?" I had to explain to my last landlady that a 7-day-long menstruation was normal, and that her massage work wouldn't cure me, and make me bleed for only 2 days. That was a fun conversation. Freshman English class, we were reading Lord of the Flies at the same time the movie Alive, about a soccer team's plane crashing in the Andes Mountains, came out. Since both were about groups being stranded and the politics society building that results, we were discussing the movie in class one day. When discussing their resorting to cannibalism as they remained stranded on the mountain, this one girl asked, why didn't they just order Domino's or something and have it delivered? A girl in 5th grade saw an algebra textbook on my teacher's desk and proceeded to exclaim very loudly, "Is algebra country?" Edit. Apparently I can't spell desk, so many I should be writing about myself. My classmate was reading some article, "What kind of person are you according to your belly button?" and asked how mine looked. I found that stupid and told her, not seriously, chill, that I don't have a belly button because I came from an egg. Another classmate heard us and was thinking, what kind of egg would I be? She told me I would be hedgehog egg. But unlike me, she wasn't kidding. A hedgehog egg. When I told her hedgehogs are mammals, she didn't believe me, cause the birth would hurt them. She is 19. Edit. I'm 100% sure she wasn't talking about echidnas. Also, her only argument was pain during birth. I overheard this woman trying to convince her friend that Lake Michigan is an ocean. My younger cousin, boy, in Bangladesh got bitten a monkey, somehow. My uncle, not the cousin's dad, genuine, was worried that would make him pregnant. Some weird old ancient folktale. He genuinely believed it. I can't even with that amount of stupidity. Obama has a weather machine, and that's why it's so hot outside. Person was dead serious, and worked in DC for the federal government for over 25 years, nearing retirement. Recently my relative told me he got a bunch of credit cards and maxed them out. He plans on paying them back with next year tax refund. He then quit his job. Same relative always makes fun of me for having book smarts, but not street smarts. But the older I get, the more I realize being able to look at my finances, live within my means, and squirrel some away is a form of street smarts that a lot of people seem to be lacking. Also, pretty much any comment on my local news Facebook page. A recent one was about a renovated gas station. One person commented complaining that they spent all that money and took away gas pumps. Someone else commented that they actually had added several. The only reason the line was longer was because it was new, and everyone was going there to see the improvements. The lady replied back really nastily, saying she had a job and didn't have time to count gas pumps, unlike some other lowlifes, completely oblivious that she looked like an idiot. The article even mentioned that they added more pumps, but again, she has to work for a living to pay taxes for the welfare bums. She don't got time for reading that either. A simple "oh crap, I must have been mistaken," or better yet, not commenting at all would have sufficed. This situation is not uncommon at all. With just $500 invested in this starter kit, you too can start your own business and become financially independent. Quit your bullshit, Karen. My 34-year-old sister, I digest my food very fast. I always shit after eating. That politician is already rich. He cannot be a thief. That some flat earthers now believe the world is actually donut shaped. That turn signals are only optional. For a good chunk of states, it is legally required for you to use your turn signals 100 feet before turning. Only to be told later that they got a ticket for not using their turn signal. I was on a date with a girl, and she was talking about how being smart made things difficult for her. She said she felt like a social piranha. I had a patient tell me once that smoking can't cause cancer, and it's all a big hoax, as I took him to his chemo appointment for lung cancer, which was most likely because he smoked 40 a day. How can anyone afford to do that? Someone giving their 1-month-old infant a bottle full of juice and water because her mother said to. Also denying the professional nutritionist that told her that's bad for a baby. Another baby, under 1 year old, whose mom puts soda in a bottle because the baby likes it. I don't think people realize how actually life-threatening it is to give their own children these things. And the fact that they don't put an ounce of research into what they give their kids, or listen to the professionals telling them what they're doing is wrong, just makes me so angry. 7th grade history class, 2 kids were arguing if there were 50 or 51 states. Another classmate cleared it up for them: 52, the 50 and Alaska and Hawaii. Same class, different person when asked a name of a US colony answered Wyoming. So the teacher had a good laugh about the Mayflower getting over the Great Plains. Video of a lady yelling at Mexicans telling them to speak American. What the actual fuck language is that, you hick? When I was getting a new aquarium, I put my fish into plastic bags of water to hold them while I set up the new tank. My mother panicked and started punching holes in the bags with a pencil. When I asked her what in the good God she was doing, she came back with, "I'm putting air holes in the bag so your fish don't suffocate." Come on, Helljack, use your head. Nothing I said could convince her she wasn't a hero of this tale. Can't you just hold in your period or stop it? I once knew someone who stated band-aids are a preventative health measure, as in they prevented initial injury. Edit. Spelling. Q. Do you like Bon Jovi? A. No, I don't eat Italian food.